it is not possible to comprehend and understand. It is just like وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ, as she also symbolizes the very night of Qadr, as the Quran clearly mentions that one will not be able to comprehend and understand وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ, what this Laylatul Qadr is. In the same fashion, we find this Hazrat where there is a very famous tradition which is mentioned by all of the great fuqaha, all of the great books within Shiaism, such as Kafi, Saduq, and also in Malayat al-Faqih, in Istibsar, where there are 9 names of Hazrat Fatimah Zahra Salamullahi
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
This discussion tonight, this talk tonight is adapted from a talk which was given by Wahida Khorasani in 2009. And I really found that talk to be very interesting, and perhaps those who could log on to and have the opportunity to listen to this talk will be very beneficial. It's in Farsi, however. This hadith which mentions that near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there are 9 names of Fatimah. So this is first of all pointing out to near Allah. That means the very verse which says that individuals, there are certain who are, their position or their station or their maqam is fi maliki inda muqtadir, near Allah. They have that qudra and that power, that freedom. And this is near Allah. Only special individuals, their maqamat is near Allah. Allah has not mentioned this in relation to, for example, those who enter paradise, or those who are the Shahada, or even, for instance, the Anbiya, and even, for instance, for example, the Awliya or Rasul. But there are certain individuals whose station is near Allah, and Allah knows them. And these names are near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this itself is pointing out to the unique aspect of the personality of Hazrat Zahra Salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
And within these names, for example, you would find Siddiqa, in which you find Mubarakah, in which you find Rabi'a, in which you find Mardiya, in which you find Fatima. Among these names, one of the names which was discussed, and it's quite interesting that we kind of look into that for a practical aspect, is the name of Mubarakah. And she's been known as Mubarakah. This title or this name of Mubarakah points out to that her being the Barakah. Barakah, which really means that something that remains, something that is perpetual. As the Prophet slaughtered the sheep and he distributed amongst the companions, amongst the friends, amongst the needy, and something which was very little remaining. And then the Prophet says, this is the barakah, meaning that this which has remained while after being remained, they also have served so many people. So it has so much of barakah with it. So it could be little, but it could be something that is perpetual. It could be something that will bring about a lot of goods and bounties to that individual, to that person. Something that will suffice him, that will sustain him, that will make him live at ease, even though it could be little. That is called barakah. It's not a question of abundance. So therefore, when the name and the title of Hazrat is Mubarakah, this itself, if we contemplate, if we concentrate, if we reflect, we would realize in terms of her presence of that 12th Imam being alive, in terms of Deen, in terms of Islam, in terms of Quran, and this all returns back to that very title, which is why she's known as Mubarak. It's because of that barakah that has remained. Because Islam which has remained is because of Bibi Fatimah, because of the Hazrat. No wonder it's considered to be, Khair Kasi, Inna Atayna Kal Kawthar. Something that we have given you, it is an abundance, goodness, which is reflected in this title of Mubarak, something which has been made. Now, in order to reflect, see, one thing is for sure, as a premise I mentioned here, is that things that has been mentioned to us, and it by our elders, and we have read and heard over and over again, simple things, but what it requires is reflection. We need to reflect on a deeper level and try to look at the different aspects of it, where it is coming from, who is saying it, what it really means. That reflection is very important. And as a matter of fact, as we come closer and closer to the Asr al-Zuhur, to the time of Zuhur and the Day of Judgment, because Day of Judgment is nothing but the, manifestation of the truth, manifestation of the reality. So as we come closer and closer to that time, we would find that Haqq shines, truth comes out. Truth doesn't remain. Whether that be the appearance of the 12th month is one of that, massive or one of the biggest kind of manifestation of the truth. That when the Day of Judgment comes and when it comes nearer and nearer, the Haqq will manifest. Right? Because Day of Judgment is that Yawma Tubla Sarai, the secrets will come out. Right? And the Haqq will be the wazan, the weight and the balance will be Haqq. Right? The truth and haqiqat will be shown. So when it comes to closer to that period, we'll find that even in this dunya, the truth tends to manifest. So what is required of that is that reflection upon these things which have been mentioned. The keys are already provided by the Ahul Bayt. The key is the Quran itself, but what it requires is the reflection and utilization. So, one of the reasons of the grave site which is hidden, and which was the wasiyat of Hazrat, and will manifest and will be shown once again, is an indication of that. When the 12th Imam al-Asr, he will point out to where the grave of Hazrat is. So this is nothing but manifestation of that truth which was hidden. Then the Masa'ib of Hazrat, and as we tend to see today, for example, compared to the periods before, we tend to find that more, it has been made apparent in the world today in terms of the Shahadat. The other schools of thought are also reflecting and pondering upon. However, the scholars have already mentioned about her and about Masa'ib that she went through, and the establishment of Azadari, the establishment of Majalis upon the Shahadat of her by the Sunni scholars such as Fakhr Razi and others. We mentioned that it is something it should be done. On the very basis that Fatima told me that she is part of me and I am from her. So whatsoever she suffers, obviously the Prophet is suffering. So the Tamam Alam Islam, the whole Islam should be really, commemorating for the Shahadat of Hazrat Zahra. So therefore now when we reflect upon this very name, there are a few things that we need to consider. So one thing that we mentioned is that very hadith that, she has 9 names near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of them is Muharram. Now if we reflect upon the hadith of our 6th Imam, which was asked by Ma'awiyah ibn Wahb, who was considered to be one of the great narrators, in which he asked the Imam, the 6th Imam, that what is it the most afzal or the greatest act of the worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person who is educated is asking this person who? The 6th Imam. The 6th Imam, who is considered to be the Hujjah, who is considered to be the most perfect, who is considered to be, an authority in this whole of Islam. The Shias and Sunnis for everyone when it comes to knowledge. That's the Imam. Now this Imam mentions that the best amal or action that is lovable by